Coast to Coast AM from September 23rd, 1997.
From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening or good morning, as the case may be, across all these many prolific time zones. From the Tahitian and Hawaiian Islands in the west, eastward to the Caribbean and the U.S. Virgin Islands, south into South America, north to the pole, and worldwide on the internet, this is Coast to Coast AM, and I'm Art Bell. Now, we have David John Oates scheduled for tonight, but Houston, we may have a problem. We've got some hum on the line. David is in, of all places, Alaska, and we may have some difficulty with audio. We're going to find out in a moment here. David, I'm sure, is working feverishly to try to take care of it, but we've got hum coming from someplace, so we'll see. Anyway, scheduled is David John Oates. Broken is the Rogue Market. That's right, it's broken. They've got it down for maintenance. I have a feeling we got them last night, so we'll kind of monitor that situation. When the Rogue Market gets up, I'll let you know. We've got a really, really spiffy ghost picture for you up there. In fact, a lot of new items on the website, as well, of course, as the Egyptian pictures from last night with Boris Said. They remain up there. And you're welcome to go take a look. If you didn't get a chance last night, the website began to go into breakdown as so many people hit it. So in a moment, we'll try it with David John Oates and see what happens. Left you.
Right. It's like he said he'd be there to protect us and things like that. And Lance has had a...
In the August issue of After Dark, find out what great minds do when doctors can't figure out what's wrong. Read about how Maurice Cotterell figured out his strange syndrome and how he healed it. And I'll give you a hint. Part of it was the new Russian device called Skinar. Find out the rest in the August issue of After Dark magazine. Also, Glynis McCants writes about the numerology of Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett, and I write about my experience with Glynis McCants. Plus, is California overdue for tsunami? Find out what the experts say in After Dark. It's everything you love about Coast to Coast AM, stuffed into 16 lovely full-color pages. Subscribe now by calling toll-free 1-888-727-5505. That's 1-888-727-5505. You know, it's $39.95 for 12 monthly issues. You can also subscribe online, safe and secure, at coasttocoastam.com. That's Coast2TO, coasttocoastam.com.
You never know what you'll hear on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie.
First-time caller, it's your turn on Coast to Coast.
You know, there was a time when our country was a great country. There was a time in the world where everybody wanted to embrace our culture, you know, pretty much become like us. Now everybody hates us. The dollar, you have to wonder if it's even worth the paper that it's printed on. I'm a patriot just like everybody else. I don't knock my country. I mean, I love my country. I guess I just don't like it right at the moment is a good way of putting it.
Well, you like the country. You don't like some of the people running things. And I do think if we get the right leaders in who care about people first and they don't throw money around willy-nilly, we may get out of it. Somebody's got to have the guts to say, this is going to be the worst 4 years of our life economically, but this is what we're going to do to fix this. I think we're going to win eventually. We're going to get out of it, but it's going to be one heck of a battle on our way.
Now we take you back to the night of September 23rd, 1997, on Art Bell, Somewhere in Time.
All right, let me give you the lineup for the remainder of the week. Tonight, audio allowing from Alaska, David John Oates, and reverse speech. Tell you more about that in a moment. Tomorrow night, Professor Michio Kaku, professor of theoretical physics at New York University. Then Thursday night, it'll be Guy Finley, who will be here talking about, well, the quickening and where the real problem may lie. Friday, Bob Lazar, who has not done an interview in a long time and will not be doing one after this, along with Gene Huff. And you're not going to want to miss that, Bob, a physicist who worked at Area 51 back engineering saucer craft. He's hard to get on the air, rare to interview, and that is a program you're surely not going to want to miss. And then next week, I am off to all over the place, to Greece, to the Greek islands, to Egypt and the pyramids, to Israel, we're just going to be all over the place. And so I'll be gone as of Monday, and we will have the best of on for you, and we've got quite a lineup, quite a stellar lineup, believe me. All right, let us try to go to Alaska now and say hello, David.
Hi, Art. How are you?
You're all distorted on me, David.
Oh, man. Well,
turn it down a little bit.
Okay, we'll give it a shot here. We have some very strange things going on with not just my audio, but also in the house itself. We've got lights doing strange things. I'm right out in the middle of the woods here in Alaska. So,
what are you doing in Alaska, by the way?
Several things really. I've got some clients up here, and I've come up here for business, doing some lectures and things and clients, and but just to take a break. I've been working pretty well flat out all year, and it was time to get away for a week, so I had the opportunity to come, so I hopped on the plane and came straight up here.
Well, good. I was in Anchorage just a few weeks ago, and the weather was beginning to cool. You could sense that autumn was in the air. Has autumn arrived?
It's probably, I've been told this is probably the best week of the year to be here. The leaves are all yellow and they're falling off, and it just looks really, really gorgeous from where I am. So I'm just covered with autumn-filled trees, and it looks fantastic. So, and it's cold, of course, but that's Alaska. And, we're going to go and see the glacier tomorrow and have a look around a bit, and then I'm back on Friday for a busy work schedule. So that's what I'm doing. And how's the hum problem now?
Well, it's there.
Yeah.
We will see how it does when we try some reversals.
Right.
Now, David, as you might be able to discern by his accent, if you've never heard him, is Australian. David had, many years ago, a speech impediment problem, which you still can detect in his voice from time to time, though when he gets rolling here, it kind of disappears. Hey, David, a lot of people with speech problems, stuttering problems, when they sing, they never stutter. How come?
Well, that's a very good question. I really don't know. It's certainly one of the things about stuttering that is well known. When you sing, you don't stutter. I have no idea why, unless my part of my theory about stuttering is that there's a misfire between the left and the right brain hemispheres somewhere, and when you're singing, you're completely accessing the right brain.
Okay, I've got an idea. Let's try some experiments. You're on a headphone setup now?
Correct.
Can you get out of the headphone setup and just pick up the telephone?
Oh, sure.
Disconnect the telephone
I'll
headset.
be off. Okay, just give me. I'll be dead air for about 2 seconds.
Oh, that's all right. We'll see if that makes any difference.
Okay, and now I'm on the phone.
All the hum's gone.
Right. Well, it's coming into my system somehow. It could be the phone lines up here. It could be the power. I'm using exactly the same equipment I use back home. I brought it all up with me, and I remember when I first set up at home, I had the hum problem too. It was just a matter of rewiring and rerouting.
Okay. Well, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Well, at least we can talk.
But you cannot play reversals.
No, I cannot play reversals without going through my system itself. And, we can chat a bit and then go back online and play them. I think you'll find that once the reversals are being played, it will drown out the hum, I would hope. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've got some great reversals on the Area 51s. And,
I know you do.
So,
I know you do.
Yeah.
Actually, no, there's even a little bit of hum on the phone here.
Oh, really?
Isn't that odd? It may be your electrical system up there.
Right.
That may be it. Well, I guess we can only but try. Let's see how it works. Now, we have lots of areas we could begin. We've got Mark Furman. We've got Brother Mohammed. We've got apparently the Queen on Princess Di.
Yeah, I've got a real potpourri tonight. A whole bunch of stuff. These are all requests I had. I've probably had more requests for the Area 51 reversals than I've had ever. And then the Queen Elizabeth was next down on the list, and so I've got her. I've got some great reversals on Mike Tyson when he apologized after biting the man's ear. To show where he's really coming from, and that's very exciting. I've also got a live test I want to do on the air as well. We've actually, it's a multiple choice question of 5 or 6 reversals, and one of the criticisms thrown at reverse speech is that we're only hearing these reversals because you are suggesting that we hear them. So I want to do this test live on the air and give some people 3 choices, and they can write to me or email or phone and let us know what the results are, and next time I'm on we'll come back with the results and see what happens. And also tonight, if we can get some audio through, is I want to just play some of my reversals slightly differently. I want to play the reversals and then actually run the whole track backwards, which I've never done before on the air, and you'll actually hear the reversals embedded amongst the backwards run tapes just to hear how it actually occurs in.
All right, why don't we see if we're in business here? Why don't we go to a couple of test reversals?
Okay.
And see if it's going to work.
All right, let me go back to my patch. Just hang on 1 second.
All right. Off the phone and back to the patch and back to a little bit of hum, I suspect. Quite a bit of hum.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, let me run a reversal on Mike Tyson.
Okay, sure. Go right ahead.
See how we can hear this.
Other than to say when the budding occurred, and I thought I might lose because of severely of a cut above my eye, I just snapped.
And are we hearing that one okay?
That came through fine, yes.
Okay, and we got a reversal on this, quite an amusing one. Here I am, rubber duck.
Here I am, rubber duck.
Here I am,
rubber duck.
Yeah. Do it once more. Did you hear that?
I did, but what is that supposed to mean? That must be metaphoric.
Well, I've never heard rubber duck in reverse before, and what he says straight after that is nearly cry, and he's got this, I'm assuring this is a real childish-like nature. He's really taken this very hard, and it struck me as just being so amusing. I wanted to play it. It's a metaphoric reversal of a childlike nature.
Okay.
Let me run it once more.
Here I am, rubber duck.
Yeah, here I am, rubber duck. I mean, it's very clear. I just don't know what it means.
And then he says straight after, nearly cry.
Nearly
cry.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that was the very first 2 reversals off of him on this apology, and the next one we're going to look at is it's really, and we're just going to put up the next file now, and he's got several on this whole trend, and the next one we're pulling up. My computer's just taking a little while here, and this is the next one on the trend, and here we go forward.
And I accept the Nevada State Athletic Commission to hand down a severe penalty, and I am here today to say I will not fight it. I only ask that it's not a penalty for life.
And moving on from the rubber duck reversal, he says, yes, I'm not brave.
Yes, I'm not brave.
Ooh.
Yes, I'm not brave. Yes, I'm not brave.
Yeah, that was very clear.
Right, and then he says straight after that, maybe I'll find the way.
Maybe I'll find the way. Maybe I'll find the way. Maybe I'll find the way.
Can you hear that one okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and what I want to do now is run the whole lot backwards, and you'll hear those 2 reversals embedded amongst the gibberish. Yes, I'm not brave. Maybe I'll find the way.
All right.
Ja, dan dat ga je nog. Ja, aan de waar is dit ding aan. Hier is net bij de.
Did you hear those?
Yes.
Yeah, and see, that's how reverse speech occurs. You've got these quite short, sharp, quite short, sharp phrases in reverse that is embedded amongst the backwards runs tape, and that's literally how reverse speech works. Once every 10 or 15 seconds, you get these very clear and precise reversals mixed in amongst the backwards tapes. That is, my claim is a reflection of what the person is thinking and feeling at the time of speaking. And let's run just two more on Mike Tyson to see how genuine his apology is.
To those of you who say I should never fight again, I can only say that I'm 31 years old, in the prime of my career, and I had made mistakes this far because I had no other way.
And he says in reverse, money, get our funds, I shall be rewarded.
Money, get our funds, I shall be rewarded.
All right, well,
Sorry?
I heard that, but not as clearly.
Right. He's got a slight lisp forwards, and you can actually hear this lisp in reverse. Let me run the forwards again.
To those of you who say I should never fight again, I can only say that I'm 31 years old, in the prime of my career, and I had made mistakes this far because I had no other way.
And we'll run the reversal again. Money, get our funds, I shall be rewarded.
Money, get our funds, I shall be rewarded.
And again.
Money, get our funds, I shall be rewarded.
Can you hear that one okay?
I hear it, but it's not clear.
Right. Okay. We've got one more on this trend, and let's see if you can hear this one. And we'll run the forward.
That was backwards.
Yeah, right. I'm running the whole track backwards to hear the reverse amongst the gibberish. Let's do that.
Yeah, we're going to have get some in there, and they come out and was in your window, this, you know, money, get up and say, leave the Lord.
Okay.
Now, the only word I heard clearly out of that was money.
Huh. Okay. Well, we've got one more in this trend. Let's do this.
I favor the very clear ones.
Right. Okay. Well, we can move on to the Queen and have a look at the Queen's reversals.
All right.
Following the death of Princess Di, and we will pull this one up. And she went public with a press conference straight after. I think it was about a week after some interesting reversals on this.
She was under pressure. The royal family was under pressure to show that they cared about Diana.
Correct. Exactly right.
We have all been trying in our different ways to cope. It is not easy to express a sense of loss, since the initial shock is often succeeded by a mixture of other feelings.
A very strange reversal to start off with. It says, she needs this.
She needs this. She needs this.
That's very clear.
She needs this.
Yeah, I don't know whether the she is the Queen. The Queen has been known to refer to herself in the third person.
Sure.
She needs what is the question, and the next reversal gets a bit closer to that. In point of fact, the whole trend in the Queen's reversals is that the death of Princess Di has actually been a great service to the Crown.
This week at Balmoral, we have all been trying to help William and Harry come to terms with the devastating loss that they and the rest of us have suffered.
And she says in reverse, the fuss will serve us.
The fuss will serve us.
The what?
The fuss will serve us.
And I'm not getting that.
The fuss will serve us.
I'm not getting the word, David. Spell it for me.
Fuss.
Fuss.
Yeah, the fuss.
I've got you.
Over the death of Princess Di.
All right, let me hear that again.
Sorry?
Let me hear it again.
Okay.
The fuss will serve us. The fuss will serve us.
Yep.
The fuss will serve us.
And we'll look at one more on the Queen. And this pretty much sums the trend up. A lot of people have suggested to me in emails that there was a murder plot for Princess Di, and I cannot find any evidence of that in reverse. But the whole feel I get from the Queen's reversals is that this is actually very convenient for the Crown, because they can use Di's death to excel the Crown's popularity.
I, for one, believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death.
And she says in reverse, sell her, feel it now.
Hello, feel it now. Hello, feel it now.
You hearing that one okay?
Yes.
Sell her, feel it now.
Hello, feel it now.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, quite terrible. And when you listen to the forwards, I'll run the forwards again, listen to the forwards and you'll see how she's really promoting Princess Di. And she's trying to literally sell her.
I, for one, believe there are lessons to be drawn from her life and from the extraordinary and moving reaction to her death.
So
feel it now.
Yeah. So sincere, huh?
Extremely much so, to be sarcastic. And let me run this whole track back.
No. Hold on. We're at the bottom of the hour, David.
Oh, really?
So we take yeah, that's right. We're going to take a break here, and we'll be right back. This is Coast to Coast AM.
You're listening to Art Bell's Somewhere in Time. Tonight featuring a replay of Coast to Coast AM from September 23rd, 1997. Listening to Art Bell Somewhere in Time on Premier Radio Networks. Tonight, an encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM from September 23rd, 1997.
Good morning, everybody. David is working on the hum. A lot of you don't hear it at all, which is good. Kind of depends on the bass response of the radio that you have. But I'm heartened to hear that, and so I guess we're going to be okay. Anyway, the storms are coming. Months and months and months and months ago, we talked about the changing weather. Now the major media is all over it. Satellites are whizzing around looking at it. People are taking ocean temperatures. Fish are moving north. I could go on and detail what's going on, but one thing is clear. The weather is changing. Blame it on whatever you want to blame it on. Fact of the matter is, there are going to be some big storms rolling our way. Did you see what is occurring off the Baja coast? Yikes.
In the August issue of After Dark, read about how Maurice Cotterell figured out his gut syndrome and how he healed it. And I'll give you a hint. Part of it was the new Russian device called Skinar. Also, Glynis McCants writes about the numerology of Michael Jackson and Farrah Fawcett, plus is California overdue for tsunami? Find out what the experts say in After Dark. It's everything you'll love about Coast to Coast AM. Call 1-888-727-5505 or online at coasttocoastam.com.
Now we take you back to the night of September 23rd, 1997, on Art Bell's Somewhere in Time.
Now, back to David Oates in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska. David?
We have rushed downstairs. I rewired all my equipment, and I can't hear any hum. You tell me.
It's a lot better.
Right, okay.
Mucho better. All right. David, give everybody a little idea of what reverse speech is, because there are always new listeners, and they're sitting there saying, what? Reverse what? What's this all about?
Right, I totally understand where they're coming from. Well, essentially, my theory is that the process of spoken communication is twofold. as the human brain is constructing the sounds of speech, it's putting those sounds, delivering two messages at the same time. One is forwards from the conscious mind, and one is in reverse from the unconscious. I maintain this is a natural function of language. All of us are receiving the reversals of everyone else every time that we speak. It's an unconscious form of communication. Now, the way we study this is by quite literally recording human speech and running that speech backwards. And once every 10 or 15 seconds, embedded amongst the sounds of the backwards gibberish, you can hear these very clear and precise English phrases that my research shows is what the person is thinking and feeling at the time of speaking. And this has been a 14-year research project of mine. It is all I have done for the last 14 years, and I really only went public with this last year for the first time in a major way, and I think your program was one of the very first programs I ever went on with this. And because since that time we've had quite a few adventures, the most significant of which is our house burning down. Our home and offices were burnt to the ground 6 months ago. I think by someone who was being very threatened by this technology, which is literally has the power of accessing the totality of human thought. Whatever you are thinking and feeling at the time of speaking is embedded backwards into the sounds of your speech.
All right, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you meet somebody, and I think almost everybody has experienced this, you meet somebody and you talk to them for a few minutes and you take an immediate dislike to them.
Right.
Which you really can't identify exactly why you dislike them, but it's almost immediate. It's just a feeling. It doesn't come from anything they directly said forward.
Right.
But you know, immediately you're on guard and you don't like them. Now, I wonder if there is a subliminal communication going on between two people.
That is most definitely correct. My research shows that a lot of our very initial impressions of someone are directed by the reversals that they are delivering. I've actually got a classic example of this. There was a caller on your Area 51 line last week, or the week before last, the second day you were taking calls.
Yes.
And you were quite upset at this man, and he was, you'll hear it when I play, I can't think which one he was. He came on after Steve on the second day, and you did not believe he knew anything about Area 51, and you got quite upset at this man.
I remember.
And he gave two very powerful reversals in the first couple of minutes of speaking to you that were really quite a direct insult. And we will play them, and you will actually hear that happen. And it's quite interesting to note that your tone of conversation with this man changed very dramatically once he had delivered these two reversals.
Okay.
So, and we'll look at that after. Unless you want to play them right now.
Oh, no, I thought that's what you were setting up to do.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can set that up. Let's. I had a thing. I had a trend I was going to go to here, but no, we can set that one up right now, and so I will do that while I'm.
Let's do that one. You've got me interested. You did the whole setup, so I might as well go ahead and hear it.
We will go and do exactly that. And while I'm setting this up, I mentioned my house fire recently that we had 6 months ago. Strange Universe has just finished doing an intensive investigation into the whole house fire, and they will be airing a special on that tomorrow night on Strange Universe.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's a 7-minute story. It's one of the longest stories they done, and they interviewed private investigators and fire officials. And
so, in other words, we'll get to see the whole story tomorrow night.
You'll get to see the whole story tomorrow night, including footage of the fire and the house after the fire. It's a very dramatic piece.
Okay.
So here is this caller, and I'm going to play the first section forward.
All right. One of the men I answered to was Thomas Moran. Are you familiar with Thomas Moran?
And the very first reversal here says, "Is this man an enemy?" And I don't know whether that's directed towards you or towards Thomas Moran, but either way, we've got that aggressive type reversal.
This man enemy. This man enemy.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, is this man an enemy?
Correct. And we'll do it one more time.
This man enemy.
And then the second reversal is even more aggressive than this. And as soon as this second reversal is delivered, your whole tone begins to change. And we'll run this forwards now.
Yeah, you know all those signs, and we're aware of all these signs. You know, deadly force will be used if you go beyond this perimeter. And
yes. A very aggressive reversal. We all use Nazi love.
We don't use Nazi love. We don't use Nazi love.
And again.
We don't use Nazi love.
We all use Nazi love.
Nazi love, and he's talking forwards about the protection and the force that supposedly takes place in this area 51. So I think he's getting into that whole thought pattern, and there's a conspiratorial type tone to his voice and the whole way he's speaking, and I can certainly see how he would have gotten your backup. But is this man an enemy? And we all use Nazi love are two very direct attacking reversals. So, and then your whole tone in the interview shifted fairly dramatically. And let me play you the next reversal on you. This is right at the very end, and I've got several reversals on you this time. You asked me last time to.
I did. I said, yeah, go ahead and reverse me.
Okay.
Which operates a subsidiary in New York called the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh, here we go.
There you go. Oh, here we go. And you obviously meant that, because backwards you say exactly the same thing. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Oh.
Oh, here we go.
You hear that?
Yes, I do.
And let's run that forwards and back.
Oh, here we go.
And backwards?
Oh, here we go.
There we go. So,
at least I'm congruent.
You were very congruent in this particular case, and in point of fact, most of your reversals were quite congruent. I have a couple of questions over some of them, which when we play them, perhaps you can help me solve some of my mystery.
I'd just love to, if it's me.
Okay. Let's getting right along with this. Before we move on to Area 51, we have a whole bunch of other stuff I want to play, and I want to have a quick look at Bill Clinton, and a reversal I found on him the other day that really quite threw me, and I'm just going to simply play it and let people draw their own conclusions.
Sure.
It was from a press conference at he was announcing some changes in tobacco regulations, particularly around teenagers.
Oh, yes.
So let's run this forward.
The health of our people, and especially the health of our children, must be paramount in our thinking, in our vision, and in our efforts. That's why a year ago I worked with the FDA and we launched.
Now, before I play the reversal, one of the things about reverse speech is that reverse speech is complementary to the forward dialogue. By complementary, I mean there is this direct contextual relationship. And when he talks about the FDA, he says in reverse, they pay for dope. And there's my stutter. They pay for...
Dope?
Dope.
I'm sorry.
Sorry?
I'm sorry. I keep stepping on it, and I don't mean to... So go ahead.
No, that's fine. They pay for dope, which really, it's a bizarre reversal to hear on tobacco regulations and teenagers.
Yeah, go ahead and do it again.
Okay.
They pay the dope. They pay the dope.
You hear that?
Yep.
And again.
They pay the dope.
And then he says another reversal straight after that says, how I agree and I accept this.
I'll agree, I'll accept.
I accept that.
I'll agree, I'll accept.
Yep.
And that really concerned me quite dramatically.
They pay for dope.
They pay for dope, yeah. And then he goes on and qualifies it by saying, I agree and accept this. As I've said many times about reverse speech, some of the reversals I don't understand, but if we're to take reverse speech literally, then the question needs to be asked, what are they doing paying for dope?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How do you discern between a literal reversal and a metaphoric reversal?
It's by the terminology that that the reversal uses, and also by the tonality of the reversals. Metaphoric reversals will have an extremely sing-song, well, reversals have a sing-song etheric tone to it anyway, but the metaphors have this very distinct etheric tone, and it uses and it uses archetypal symbols and mythology, wolf, goddess, Lancelot, Garden of Eden. But ultimately, there is still the whole research around what is literal and what is metaphoric is still being researched. Also, they tend to occur in clusters. By clusters, I mean metaphors will run in 3 or 4 metaphoric statements all in a row, or literal reversals will also run in a cluster. You'll get 3 or 4 of them bunched together.
Typically, I suppose there is no absolute, but typically, how many of the reversals, percentage-wise, turn out to be metaphoric versus literal?
Far more than I would wish. At least 70 to 80%.
Wow.
Of the reversals are metaphoric in nature, and I maintain that is because the unconscious mind thinks and functions in pictures and images or metaphor, and the unconscious mind is by far the greatest region of human consciousness. Only 5 to 10% of the totality of our of the psyche exists in the conscious area of the mind, and reverse speech is accessing all areas of consciousness. Mm-hmm. So you're getting a vast majority of metaphoric reversals. And the whole area of interpretation of reversals is still a science that is being understood and unraveled as we go. There's no doubt in my mind and many of the minds of my peers that the phenomenon of reverse speech itself is beyond any shadow of a doubt as far as I'm concerned.
Have you done any reversals yet on President Clinton or Vice President Gore regarding the campaign finance scandal?
No, I have not done any about that. I've got reversals on them yet. I've got a reversal on Clinton where he talks about his balanced budget. Did I play that on your program when he announced balanced budget? And he indicates that the balanced budget is not real. It's a fake. To use his own words, see the fake.
Well, I don't need a reversal to know that, but it would nevertheless be interesting to hear it from his very own reversed mouth.
Okay, so we're just pulling that one up right now, and we've got 2 reversals here, and here we go.
The budget agreement that we announced today would not be possible had it not been for the tough vote taken in 1993.
And the first reversal here says we had to sign it.
We had to sign it.
Again?
We had to sign it.
What for?
We had to sign it.
And that's exactly right. They had to sign it.
Oh, they had no choice. There was great political pressure. And then he continues on.
By investing fully $24 billion, we will be able to provide quality medical care for these children, everything from regular checkups to major surgery.
And then he says, see the fake, look it up.
See the fake, look it up. See the fake, look it up. See the fake, look it up.
You hearing that one okay?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and, look it up. All one has to do is go and look at the bill itself to see the fake, to use his own words.
Is your new house fireproof?
Oh boy, what a question! We've actually been approached by a couple of builders who are offering to build a fireproof house for us, and I personally think we need to take them up on that, especially once you see the Strange Universe report tomorrow night. I live in a extremely risky occupation, and
you do. It's true, you do.
Yeah, I didn't really take it seriously when I first came out with this. I kind of thought a lot of it was just conspiratorial or paranoia mentality, and I've not only have we had the fire, but my office has been broken into several times, and we've been followed, and it's extremely bizarre, some of the things that have happened to us since we've gone public with this. So.
Well, even paranoids occasionally have their homes burned down.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's risky. I mean, when you begin to do this to people, to reverse them and expose them, you're not going to be their best friend all the time.
Well, our world lives, we live in a world of illusions and lies and half-truths and incongruities, and I personally think reverse speech is probably the first real technology available to us yet that can go straight to the source of truth. And, you know, I don't want to sound like I've got a blasé attitude about it, but this is what I do, and this is what reverse speech is, and I'm certainly not going to stop doing it. I think it's a tremendous technology, and more and more people are using it all